Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rocker Mike and Rob Presents show. Today we have a very, very special guest. I'm very excited to have on the very famous Junior Marvin, who played with Bob Marley and the Wailers, and he's had a fantastic career all by himself, which we're going to talk about. Junior, how are you?
Greetings. Happy holidays to everyone.
One
So
love,
nice
brother.
to be here.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
an honor.
Yes, thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter got hold of me with the Christmas spirit and shopping.
That's
So
what happened.
I managed to escape for a little while.
Okay. So, Junior, I was introduced to you through other channels, through other interviews and people like that. And I'm of course I'm a gigantic Bob Marley fan. We all are. We appreciate the work you did with him, and I'm just amazed at your career. I mean, you were born in Jamaica, but you kind of grew up in London, right?
Yeah, I went to London when I was like 9 years old.
Right,
Went
right.
to primary school,
Hmm.
high school, and college, and then straight into music.
But even as
I
a
actually
child,
was
yeah,
in the theater as well. So,
right.
mix.
You have some acting chops as well.
Wow.
Yeah, my mom used to take me to every audition possible.
Now,
So I
is it
ended up,
true you were in the Beatles movie Help?
yeah, there was a scene in Barbados with the police chasing Ringo,
Yeah.
and apparently they had to redo the whole scene. So they were in London, so they needed some young, tall black kids who looked like cops, young cops chasing Ringo on the beach.
I remember that scene. Yeah.
Yeah, so we had a lot of fun doing that, and those guys were amazing. They were so funny. They were enjoying every second of it.
So you met every one of them.
Of course, yeah, we were hanging
Wow.
out on set.
And at that time they were on top of the world.
Yeah, man, it's great songs, great music, great vibe.
Hmm.
Brought a lot of people together.
Right.
Yes, they did.
Right. But when did you start realizing that, music was going to be your thing?
Well, when I was 2 years old,
Wow.
and they plunked me on a piano in Jamaica, and like, okay, every evening after school practice, including Sundays.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my family had a church, so I got to play a little bit in church and play a lot at home, but mainly after school until I was 9 years old and I got away to England. And then I discovered James Brown and Elvis Presley
Right.
and the
That'll do
Beatles,
it.
of course.
That'll do it. Um what was some of your favorite other favorites at that time? I mean, were you listening obviously the Beatles, but were you listening to maybe the Stones or things like
Oh,
that
yeah,
too?
of course. Led Zeppelin, the Stones, Stevie Wonder,
Hmm.
Aretha Franklin, you name it, man. All the English bands, all the blues bands, from America, Howlin' Wolf, and people like that. T-Bone Walker, and of course Steve Ray Vaughan,
Oh yeah,
and
that was later on. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, but all through those times, we were
Great
very
stuff. I mean,
exposed
you
to that
can't
music.
beat that music.
Nah,
But
nah, it's great stuff.
but in the '60s, in the early '60s, reggae wasn't really a thing yet. Okay, you had kind of like ska and rock steady music and things like that coming out of Jamaica and England too.
Yeah.
And but by the early '70s, reggae was pretty established as a genre. Was that something that you were attracted to right away when you heard it?
Well, when I heard "Concrete Jungle" by Bob Marley, I was
Okay,
hooked.
of course,
And
great
then
song.
I was so lucky to meet them, and through Chris Blackwell, I joined the Wailers in '77 for the album Exodus and Kaya,
Right.
and just went from there,
And
until now.
just so people know, Exodus is was made as was called one of the greatest. I think it is the greatest album of the 20th century.
Yeah,
Uh,
Time Magazine voted that album of the century,
yeah, and
and
actually,
I was very honored.
It's actually been put on. I think one of the Voyager spacecrafts, and it's out there in the
Wow,
you know in the solar system somewhere being played.
that's amazing.
That's
It is.
funny.
It is.
That's funny.
That is
That's so
funny.
funny.
You know, but when you first heard Bob Marley, what I mean, obviously you were drawn in. You said with Concrete Jungle, but you know, starting to work with him, what was that like? I mean, was it did anything change in your mind? Did you say, "Wow, this guy is really a genius," or he's not, or what? You know, what'd you think?
Well, funny story is that on February the 14th, 1977, I got a call from Stevie Wonder and Bob Marley on the same day,
That's a nice
Valentine's
day.
Wow,
Day.
Nice Valentine's Day.
that's a nice.
Yeah. And then, like, so within a couple of hours, I had to choose one of them,
Oh, they
and
both asked you to work with them.
exactly on the same day within an hour of each other.
Oh my God.
This was in London, in on the King's Road in Chelsea.
Yeah.
So I called my school friends, called my parents, called my music teachers, and they said both couldn't make up their minds. And then eventually they said, "Well, you were born in Jamaica. You better go with Bob." So
That makes sense.
yeah, well, Steve said like if it didn't work out with Bob, I could call him. So I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, try it out with Bob, and if it didn't work, call me." So I was
That's
so
amazing.
honored. I was getting goosebumps and all that kind of stuff.
So when you first met Marley, what was your opinion? What'd you think?
Well, I kind of saw aura around him, and I never seen an aura before, so that was something.
Yeah. You sure? You sure it just wasn't all that weed smoke?
I don't know. Maybe it was the smoke. I saw something though.
I
Nah,
believe
he's
it.
a great guy. He was a workaholic,
Yes.
a real workaholic, and he was an example. He didn't just talk. He got up and swept the floor and tidied the place and did everything that people would think he wouldn't do. Just to get things rolling. Like a nice vibe, healthy vibe, clean vibe.
Right.
Let's get to work. And he wouldn't sit there and wait for somebody. He'd do it himself. And like he'd be the first one in rehearsal, the first one on the bus.
Yeah.
It's just like on a mission. So
And he
it
treated
kind of
everybody
reflected on
fairly.
all of us. Huh?
He treated everybody well for the most part.
Of course. Yeah, he was a great guy.
I've always
He was a
heard that.
brother, a real brother. A
Yeah.
Rastaman.
Yes. Yes. Now, was that part of your thing back then? Were you Rastafari? Are you still Rastafari? Or what
Well,
is?
I think being a Rasta back then and now is still a matter of seeking the truth and dealing with love and positive vibrations. I
Yes.
mean, from you seek love, then you become a Rasta. And the
Big part.
truth goes with love, it doesn't go with anything else.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's changed over the years, though. Some of the beliefs and things like that has
Well,
changed.
you have a lot of influences on now,
Yeah.
technology and, communication systems getting a bit better. And so there's lots of opinions, lots of religions, but we're all like rivers going to one ocean.
Correct.
If we're thinking positive, then we're doing the right thing. And if you're speaking the truth, we're doing the right thing. And if you love your brothers and sisters and support them like how you'd like to be supported, then you're doing the right thing. So
Yeah.
that attracted me to Bob.
That's cool. That's very cool. I just want to mention the Bob Marley movie that just came out last year for a minute. We'll get back to it after, but
Yeah.
with this film that came out last year, One Love, how in your since you knew Bob, how do you think they did a good job of making
I think
him
they did a great
accurate?
job.
Hmm.
Like there's lots of different portrayals you can make of Bob. The musician, the Rastaman, the family man, the band leader, the spearhead, the guy on a mission. I mean, like he tried to be honest with himself and be simple,
Right.
and show a lot of love, say smile when you wake up.
Well, like you say, there's so many facets to the man, and I enjoyed the film. I've seen it a couple of times
Yeah,
already.
I think it was great. It was
Yeah.
great for the music, great for the history, great for Bob's family, great for
Yeah,
the Wailers, great for Jamaica, great for the world to have a message of one love. I mean, how
Right.
simple can you get? One love,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. But
So
it
it
dealt
touches
with.
everybody, whether you speak English or not.
Yeah,
It
and
resonates.
it really just dealt with one short period of his life. I mean,
Yeah,
you could.
just I think
Yeah,
about 3 or 4 years,
right,
between like 76 and when he passed in 81.
right, right.
So, and a little bit after
If they talk about a now and all that. Yeah.
Right.
Right. And once I heard that Ziggy and Rita had given their blessing to the film, I was like, okay, it's going to be good. You know.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a great love story.
Mhm.
It's a great history of Jamaican culture and music, and it goes beyond just Jamaica. It's like Bob's father was from England, you know,
Right.
and so it's like a universal thing. It's like Africa, the Caribbean. You have Germans, you have Swedish, you have Indians, you have Chinese, mainly from Hong Kong,
Yes.
and you have Indians from India, you know,
Mhm.
and you have Syrians in Jamaica, you know, you have Africans, of course, you know, and of
Yes.
course, you know, my great grandmother was Arawak, Caribbean Indian.
Wow.
So, you know, I got some Arawak blood in me. I got some African, got some Scottish blood. My family name is Kerr, which is a Spanish, Scottish name.
Scottish. Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, I got a little bit of that too.
All right. Getting back to '77 and the Exodus album. Okay. What was it like putting that album together? They showed it in the film quite a bit on how that album came together. But what was like your major contribution to it, and what did you think of the process that Bob was going
Well,
through?
Bob was searching for something new, something that would blend, you know. And
Right.
I was hanging out with Jimi Hendrix guy, Roger Mayer, the electronics genius, and he built a lot of sounds and fixed Jimmy's guitars. And like in the studio, he's very good with the technology.
Yeah.
And I introduced him to Bob, and he created one of a kind guitar for Bob, and you know, basically tuned all the guitars in Jamaica that were out of tune. And it started to bring reggae into the 21st century of sonically sounding like in tune, at least, you know. And so with Exodus, he worked on the sound of the guitars and the bass, and made sure they were in key with the keyboards, the organs, you know, the piano, the Fender Rhodes, you know, the synthesizers. Everything was in tune. So that gave us an edge as far as a reggae album with technology. And you know, Roger helped me a lot with my guitar sound because, of course, he's famous from Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin, and you know, just to name a couple of bands that he's famous with, Coldplay. The
Right.
list goes on. Stevie Wonder. You know, he's done like sound work for all these people, and so like his, you know, technological edge gave us another edge as well with bringing the Wailers and into a new technology of sound, you know, and recording techniques.
Right, right. Now, I would say, leading up to Exodus, the other Bob Marley records are fantastic as well.
Of
Um,
course.
that album definitely, uh, production wise, I think was off the charts. I mean, it was something that nobody had ever done before on a reggae record.
Yeah, we had great engineers too, you know, Carl
Yeah.
Peterson, you know, Alex Satkin, who worked with Duran, and he worked on Restaurant Vibration,
Hmm.
the album
Right,
previous
right
to
before that. Yeah,
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 and he helped a lot in the studio. Man, this guy was amazing. I learned so much from him as a studio engineer and Roger Mayer. So like I could put that into the mix with what the Wailers had already, you know. So
now,
my rock influence and R&B and jazz and funk influence, you know, I started off playing with T-Bone Walker. I played with Billy Preston. I played with Ike
right,
and Tina Turner.
right,
Played with Traffic. Played with Steve Winwood. You know, uh, played with Tucson and Maytals. You know, and so my help of bringing new sounds brought the Wailers to a different level. You know, and
yeah. I
we
was
were
I was going
rewarded
to say
for
that.
it.
I was going to
I'm
say
very
that you.
proud of it.
No, you should be. And I was going to say your rock background definitely influenced that album, Exodus. Okay.
Thank you.
I really, you can just by when I read your background and realized that you played with all those people you mentioned, I said, okay, this guy was a force on this record.
Well, I used to practice a lot, put it that way. Everybody got to practice.
Oh
All
yeah.
you young kids out there,
No,
practice.
it's work. It is work to be a musician, and some of the
Learn the
best ones.
business and practice hard and
Mhm.
surround yourself with good people.
Right,
And, you
right.
know,
Now, sadly, Bob would pass away in '81. You continued on with the Wailers for a little while after that, right?
well, I'm still continuing with the Wailers
Yes,
myself.
yes.
Al Anderson, of course.
Hmm.
He's still got the original Wailers, and I have the legendary Wailers. And
Legendary, yes.
yeah, so we're the two real Wailers out there. I mean, we still love the ideas that other people use the name Wailers, but the real deal is Al Anderson and myself in terms of what we did with Bob and continue to do with other people and with a new sound,
Right.
new ideas.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's great that that music is still out there and can be seen. I did. You're with the legendary. I think I saw the original Wailers in Brooklyn a few years back.
Yeah, man, they're doing really great.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Al Anderson is the leader of that band.
Right.
He played
That's
with Bob before I did.
yes.
You
That's
know,
the version I saw. That was very
yeah,
good.
he
You know.
played on No Woman No Cry, Lively Up Yourself.
Yeah.
You know, Zion Train. Al's got a really great sound, great guitar player, and is
Yes.
still performing.
Right. Right.
Doing
So
a good show.
when when Bob died, obviously tragic. Okay, his loss to cancer is tragic. Even to this day, he's like a person that they'll ask like who if there's somebody you could bring back. Okay, I
Bring
always I
forward.
always say Bob Marley. I mean, like this guy is needed in the world today. That's for sure.
Well, his kids are doing a great job.
They
You
are.
got Ziggy, you got Steven,
Yeah.
you got Kimani, you got Damien, you got Kimani, you got Julian, and the
Hmm.
girls as well. Sidella, Sharon, and grandkids, Skip Marley. They're all part of Bob's legacy and the
Yeah.
message. And we collaborate with them, we work with them, and we support them, and we love
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. So when did you go solo in effect? Like when was like the first album that you put something out on your own?
Well, before I met Bob Marley, I used to work as a rock band called Hanson because that's one of my middle names.
Right.
And I had a record deal with Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and I was signed by Mario Medias, the
Mm,
Big M,
yes.
famously known as, and he still lives in Miami, and we're still great friends, the Big M. So he was the manager of Manticore label with Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and Stuart Young, I think, was their manager at the time, and they gave me two solo albums, Now Hear This, and one titled Magic Dragon
Right.
back in 74 and 75. And then I broke away and started working with Traffic with Steve Winwood. Then I worked on his solo album. And in between that, I was working with Sly and the Family Stones, Billy Preston, Ike
Wow.
and Tina Turner, T-Bone Walker, of course. So I
Yes.
was getting real education across the board,
Absolutely.
jazz, blues, rock, everything. Led
Mhm.
Zeppelin was one of my favorites. Rolling Stones, the Beatles, of course. So like there's so many options back in those days that we don't have now, in terms of really good musicians and original sound and songs. Sting, from Police, lots of bands like that, The Who, they were very
Yeah.
original too.
Yeah.
So it's coming from the blues forward, like, you have T-Bone Walker, you had B.B. King, Freddie King, Albert King, you had, Muddy Waters, you had I mean, just goes back,
Yeah.
and,
Definitely. I
and
mean,
it's come full circle, and blues have really made impact where rock and jazz is concerned.
well, it's really a combination of all three. You
Yeah,
know,
and reggae blended in with all of them.
and reggae's contribution is you hear it everywhere. People don't even realize it.
Yeah, you
Um,
got country reggae, you got
yeah. Yeah.
blues reggae,
Yeah.
rock
True.
reggae.
Yeah.
I
It's
Shot the
true.
Sheriff by Eric Clapton.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking
Bob
speaking of
Marley
country,
wrote it, of course.
speaking of country music, a lot of people don't realize is a lot of the early reggae guys, including Bob, loved country music.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Okay,
without a doubt.
you wouldn't think
Sam
you wouldn't think
Cooke,
it. Yeah, I mean,
all those people.
was that
Otis
because
Redding,
Junior
James
was that
Brown,
right? Was that because they really
Donny
liked it?
Hathaway,
Yeah. No,
Stevie Wonder, of course.
was that because the radio stations in Jamaica played a lot of country music, right?
Oh yeah, we had a lot of stations coming from New Orleans,
Yes,
and we picked
Yeah.
up the sound, and a lot of influence from the Meters, of course, you know,
New Orleans band. Yep.
and Motown. Motown was big, and Stax. You know,
Absolutely.
the sailors would come back with records, and they go and find all these stores and all this music down south, and you know, at Chicago and all these places. And it was very like all the producers in Jamaica would go through all these records, and Bob Marley would help Cox and Dodd to pick out the ones for the Jamaican artists, you know.
Right.
So he got schooled in like what you call Curtis Mayfield,
The
Smokey
impressions.
Robinson,
Yep.
Impressions, you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
Got a lot of schooling from those guys. And then we had like Calypso, Mento, and then you had the Rasta, Naya Bingi, Kumina. We had all the African influences to go with it, you know.
It
So
was,
that's where reggae really like took another step forward.
yeah, it was like
And
a
it had a
melting pot.
message with it too, you know, Rastafarism, you know, King
Sure.
of Kings, conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, Jah,
All
Rastafari.
right. Yes. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
So we're
man,
looking at
one
some
love, you
pictures
know.
here of Junior over the years. He's on stage. There he's looking sharp with that hat. Nice.
Thank
Rob,
you
you
guys
always
so
get the best
much.
pictures.
And here, what we're here today, we'll talk about this album, right?
Yeah, yeah. I want to get into
Yeah,
that. You have an amazing new album out now called Happy Family. Okay.
correct.
And I got to give it a listen last night.
Yeah, 12
And
songs.
very good old school stuff, man. I
Mhm.
loved it. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Uh,
Appreciate it.
you know,
Yeah, the theme
roots
is like,
reggae,
you
man.
know,
Yeah, I mean,
family and one love, you know, and of
mhm,
course the Bob Marley movie came out recently, and that's doing very well with the One Love title.
right.
And so everything is on the same message, you know, and we're just getting more and more people coming on board with a positive vibration, you know, and love.
Well, that's good. We need that in the world today.
I woke
Definitely.
up this morning, I was smoking a fatty like I do every morning. And I was listening to the album. It just took me back to those old school days. I was just there. I was high as fuck and having a good time.
That's
Yep.
great, man. Thank you for the support and the love.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Brother,
definitely.
that first song, Brother, was pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Brothers. Yes, written by a friend of mine and myself. His name is Joey Shalling. He's from Panama City Beach in Florida. And we wrote that song about 20 years ago, and we just finally got it out.
Wow. Freaking hot. It's good. Good stuff in the whole thing. Message of Love was good too.
That's the Jimi Hendrix
Yeah.
tribute.
That was
Yeah.
a Jimi Hendrix song. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is good, man.
right. Midnight Rockers is a solid one.
That's a
Thank
good
you
one
very
too.
much. That's a good dancing track.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it had a good groove to it. Reggae rock, I liked.
Reggae Rock was fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. And the second track, Rastafari. I mean,
Oh yeah.
what I think is lost in a lot of reggae music today is the Rastafari message. I think they might have a good song, okay, they might have a good groove to it, but so much reggae back in the day was really about that Rastafari message. I mean, Bob, every song practically.
Yeah. Well, you know, Bob was on that mission, and like the mission still prevails with his kids, you know.
Yeah,
They DJ, they sing, they talk about, you know, Rastafari. And it's a sense of honesty and truth and love, you know.
yes, absolutely,
And they're
absolutely.
supporting that message, and myself and Al Anderson are supporting that message. And there are lots of bands around the world who cover the reggae, the Wailers, and we support them too, you know, and thank them for their support.
There's another guy out there that I saw open for Black Uru a few years back, at BB King's Club in Manhattan when it was still open. It's closed now. Um, his name was he was doing similar stuff to what you're doing. His name was King Hopton. Have you ever heard of him?
No, I haven't heard of him. Was he from Africa?
No, he's from Jamaica, if I remember right.
Oh, is he
But he
based in
kind
New York?
of it seemed like he was based in Jamaica. Like the Black
Okay.
Uru had took him on tour. I think he has maybe 2 albums as of now, or maybe 3. But
Yeah.
he's somebody you should check out. He's
I'll
doing a
definitely
very
check it
similar
out.
thing.
I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, King Hopton. And he has a great voice
Yeah.
too. Great voice.
Yeah,
So
so the Happy Family album came out early this year on Flatiron Recordings,
right,
and it did very well. We have a vinyl that goes with it, and
excellent.
yeah, you know, the sound is really 21st century, and you guys will love it.
Yeah, well, we heard it, we love it, but I gotta definitely pick it up. It's definitely something I'd want to add to my collection.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. What's the best place to get it?
Well, any major
It's on
outlets, you
Amazon.
know, yeah, you can get it
Amazon?
on Amazon. You can get it on from Flatiron, you know,
Recordings.
their website. Yeah,
Flatironrecordings.com, I believe we have here.
yeah,
Okay, Flatiron. That's cool.
yeah. I seem to
Are
have
you gonna
lost
be
contact with you guys.
are you going to be touring, Junior?
Yeah, we start the tour on January the 11th
Right.
at the Hamilton Live in Washington, D.C.
Okay. You making your way up to New York?
Yeah.
Where are you playing?
No, actually, we're playing in Washington, D.C. on the 11th of January.
Right. But
It's a venue called the Hamilton Live.
right.
It's near the Metro Center, just behind the White House,
Right.
downtown.
Wow.
I think, Junior, we lost you on the screen.
I know. I'm trying to get you back.
Okay. All right. So, are you going to be heading up to the New York City area at all, or you're not sure yet?
Yeah, well, we hope so in like around March. We're going to Dubai for Bob Marley celebration in February.
Uh-huh.
And then when we come back, we'll start doing dates around the East Coast, New York, all over. There you go again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. That's great. All right. So, Junior, thank you very much for being on the show. And
thank you. There I am.
what we're going to do for you, brother, is let us either you or your manager Larry, maybe he can let us know, when you're coming into the New York area. We'll promote you a little bit.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you come to a venue and get you some guest passes and have a good time.
That'd be fantastic. We'd love that. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, so listen, you have a happy New Year.
Happy New Year. That's right.
Happy New Year. Yes, same to you guys and all your listeners and all your supporters, and keep on supporting.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Definitely. And with the message of love, it's one love, right?
One love, brother.
Okay. You take care of yourself now.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
New Year.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.